Just kind of curious, could you, and I know I've seen one of your videos, it was about the 7 tips of hiring. Maybe I got that title wrong, but
Yeah.
absolutely excellent video. So, and that's hiring pretty much any team member, local, remote, otherwise. Could you give our audience what's some of that framework in your mind to hire excellent staff?
I think there's two things that when I was running my, and I think it's even harder now, but when I was running my firm, finding people and keeping them was a nightmare. I had no clue what I was doing. I was very naive at the time. When I put out my first job offer, I thought it would be like the easiest thing in the world to find someone. I thought just like people were always looking for jobs and just, would take anything. And I couldn't find people for the life of me. When I did find them, I was practically begging them to join. And when they did join, they would turn over very, very quickly. So that was like the first few years of running my firm was just hiring issues. And the two things that really turned things around for me was first attracting. The first step in your recruitment process is your job offer, the job posting. And that's what everybody sees first for the most part. And most job posts are incredibly generic. So if you're looking for a bookkeeper, you say, our firm is looking for a bookkeeper who can do monthly reconciliations and sales tax filings and, review general ledger, et cetera, et cetera. It's just like a list of tasks. And that's not going to get anybody's attention. So we need to treat our job posting as a sales document. And, your recruitment process is just a sales process at the end of the day. We need to convince people to join you. We need to get them excited. So, we have to have, and there's somewhere on my blog, I have a template that people can find for like, if they search for like staff accounting job description or something like that. I have a template where they could just fill in the blanks, and that template alone is miles better than what most firms are putting out there. So the first step is really we need to convince people, and that convincing starts at the job posting. The second thing is how are we treating these interviews? A lot of us are really looking at skill level. Can they do a tax return? Can they do a bank reconciliation? Can they put together a financial statement? They're looking at skill. But most people that aren't working out aren't turning over or leaving, or they're low performer, not because they don't have the skill, but because they don't have the proper attitudes to succeed in the organization, right? They are perhaps self-centered and are not humble. They are not problem solvers. They're not coachable, so you're constantly repeating the same thing over and over again to them. So when I shifted my interview process and the recruitment process as a whole to test for the key attitudes that I needed for people to succeed in the organization, retention, like finding people and retaining people is like the least of my concerns right now at Future Firm. I'd say it's primarily due to those two things. There's other things that go into it, but those are the two big things. Whereas with Zen Accounting, my previous firm, those are the things I got completely wrong. And that's why I couldn't find people, and that's why I couldn't keep people. So these are the two big things that I integrate into our recruitment process.
That's awesome. I think that one of the things that you mentioned in your video that I like, and maybe I'll get this wrong, is it 89% of people that are failing in their jobs? Did I get that statistic right?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's like a study. I don't know if that is from a couple years ago. That study from Leadership IQ. There's a book called Hiring for Attitude, which really taught me on how to hire for attitude instead of hiring for skill. So yeah, we have a skill test. Like there's a couple other things that go into a recruitment process as well. We have skill tests, and we have these, before we go into the interview itself, we have like a screening process that's a little bit automated. So there are some steps to the process, but the two major steps are we have to get the interview right. We're asking the right questions to identify the critical attitudes required for success in the organization. And we need to attract people, which really starts at the job posting.
to go back to that, 89% of the people that are failing not because of lack of skill, but because of attitude about their job. Or there was two things, I think, if I get that right. They were bad attitude about their job or the way they approach work. But
It was
that was amazing.
89%. Yeah, just don't have the attitudes required to succeed. And like, so for me, like I identify, I need someone that's humble, someone that's not pointing the fingers, someone that's coachable. So that's someone that could accept feedback and implement it. I often speak to firm owners, say, what do I do with this person? I'm always repeating the same thing over and over again. Well, if you've done everything, if you properly train them and you're communicating the same thing over and over again, they're not coachable. And that person is someone you can't delegate work to. And then the last thing is I need a team of problem solvers so that the problems aren't, I don't want problem bringers, I want problem solvers. So these are the three critical things that every single person on my team has to have.
Fantastic. That's if everybody came to work like that, that would be awesome.